I don't know, maybe we chopped this out of the episode, but I had a little grocery store news from the weekend to share. Probably better left said on a guestless episode. Do you have a beer? Go get your beer.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Mike's Hard Lemonade from our Mike's Hard Lemonade episode.
Got to get rid of them.
Okay, are you enjoying it?
Not really, but I mean, it's fine.
I liked it. I mean, you can listen to the episode, but I liked it more than I thought I was going to.
That's right.
I am trying today it's a Lagunitas daytime low-cal IPA. So it's like, you know, for day drinking, so you can crush like 7 of them and not be drunk.
I love that. That's my kind of drinking, honestly. I know. We differ.
But I thought it was fun. So I try to do a walkabout once a year. Like, not really a walkabout. Probably offensive to call it that, if I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Do you think that's fresh in your mind because your partner is Aussie?
I work at a radio station in Joshua Tree. I live in the next town over, and I try to walk home once a year. And I usually have drinks and take some psychedelics, which I did this year. I told somebody what I was up to, and he said, "Oh, you're on a walkabout."
Okay.
So he said that to me while I was at the bowling alley bar in Yucca Valley. I went to a few other places, and that was just very fresh in my head, but had a nice time. I was a little on goofballs. I was stopped at a few places and had some shots and some beers. And I was on my way home, and I said, you know what? There's no booze in the house. If I get home and I start sobering up, I'm gonna be like crabby. So I did what I don't like to do, and I went to a local grocery store while I was hopped up on goofballs.
Okay.
I went to the Vons.
Okay.
A place I do not go.
Yeah.
And I, of course, ran into a guy that I know, asking me if I was doing some community stuff over the weekend.
What do you mean?
One of the guys who runs the community breakfast at the Copper Mountain Mesa Community Association was there shopping. I don't know if it wasn't for the breakfast, but he said, "Hey, come to the breakfast tomorrow." I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, you know what? I'm on a little bit of a walkabout. I'm probably going to sleep in tomorrow." And I was I wasn't like really wigged out, but I was like, I probably just shouldn't be in public right now. But
Sure.
I wanted to get an 8-pack of hard kombucha to take home. So I walked home with the... it's probably another 45 minutes from the grocery store. I carried that 8-pack all the way up the hill back to my house.
You've talked about, I guess it was Seltzer Arm, right?
LaCroix Arm, I used to call it.
LaCroix Arm, yeah. So I guess that's the new version.
My box broke. It's a 8-pack, so it's like a long box. And I had to carry it, like, cradling it upwards. Because, like, the little holes that you carry the 6-pack on, I've been carrying it so long and so roughly, it just broke and fell into the dirt and opened. So I just had to hold it with the open end up, like
a baby.
Yeah, or like a grocery basket. So that was my experience, my recent grocery store experience. Very fun.
I picked up a friend at the airport, and it's right by Trader Joe's. So I went to the Trader Joe's for the first time in probably almost a year.
Okay, what'd you think?
It was all right. Whatever. It was fine. I got a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't like drastically different stuff than I can get. Yeah, dried fruit is one thing that they do very well there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that was like my experience with Trader Joe's. Like once you get out of the habit of going to the Trader Joe's so often, you kind of get broken from the spell.
Yeah. There was nothing that I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to unlock recipes or anything like that. So, I got some weird like vegan bulgogi type stuff.
Cool.
So I will let you know if that's any good.
All right.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We should probably do a vegan meat episode sooner than later.
Sure.
We just were at your house prepping for this episode we're doing now. Tried some brand new hot out of the labs vegan meat.
Yeah.
And we both liked it, but we should save that for a more specific episode, I'd say. So that's a little grocery store roundup. We should introduce the show. You're listening to Clean Up on Aisle Podcast, the dirty truth about grocery stores. Sorry, that was my phone dinging. Should I do that again?
Yes.
That's my sister. Former guest of this program, messaging me about possibly throwing a party when she's back in America.
Okay.
We can keep that in. Let's try one more time.
Gingerbread Man down, Clean Up on Aisle Podcast.
You're listening to Clean Up on Aisle Podcast, the dirty truth about grocery stores. I'm Jef Harmatz. With me, as always, is Adam Fligsten. Hello, Adam.
Hello, Jeff.
We have a fun episode today.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. I think so.
I guess I pitched this one.
Yes.
And I thought this was going to go differently.
Okay.
So we're here to talk about Guy's Grocery Games, Triple G. And I've got a lot of thoughts about Food Network in general.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll just start off and say I thought I was going to hate this.
Okay.
And I didn't. I actually quite liked it.
Okay.
What did you think?
I did not particularly enjoy it.
Okay.
I thought I was going to enjoy it more.
Okay. Had you ever seen it before?
No.
So I had seen. I'm a big Food Network watcher, and I do want to talk with you about Food Network, and we will get into it. But like, watching the Food Network every time I go to my parents' house or anytime I'm in a hotel that has cable, I am one of those guys that will put on Food Network and let it roll.
Is it mostly Guy Fieri going around eating people's sausages and stuff?
Well, so that's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Yeah.
That's his main show. That's like the main type of show that Food Network was doing in that era. I really enjoy that show, Triple D. And I'll get to a hotel and like Food Network for some reason, like I don't know if this is like a cable thing, but like the new episode of, let's say, Chopped. Chopped is airing a brand new episode at 10. For the rest of the day, it's all old Chopped episodes.
Right.
So like Tuesday, it's all Chopped.
Yeah.
Wednesday, it's all Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Thursday, it's all Guys Grocery Games. And I would never stick around for the Guys Grocery Games. That's the one show that if it was on Food Network, I would just say, I guess I'm not watching Food Network.
Okay. Because you just had preconceived notions, or you had seen a little bit enough to know that you didn't want to watch it?
I didn't understand it. So, yeah.
Now you've gotten inside of it, and you have a full comprehension of the it's like the galaxy brain.
I'm not trying to say that that's the case. I like watched one from start to finish, and now I get it.
Okay.
I'm not saying I like have a grand depth of knowledge and wisdom about the show, but I understand how the rules work now. I didn't know. Or you could just catch a clip of Guys Grocery Games. It's like just people. It's like it all seems very arbitrary.
Yeah.
Like I keep thinking of there's a Tim Robinson sketch where like it's Number Munchers. It's a game show, and they're like, we haven't figured out what the rule is. We don't know what his deal is. And that's always how I felt about Guys Grocery Games.
Sure.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Why are they're running around and now they're cooking? I just didn't get it. And I didn't want to get it, and that's fine if I didn't get it.
I mean, it's basically Chopped. It's just Chopped.
Oh, no, it's a little different than Chopped, and we'll get into it. So, should we start with the Food Network? Like, what's your vibe with the Food Network?
I've seen a lot of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and I don't want to say that I like it, but I have seen a lot of it enough to be like, all right. I mean, I like the idea that he is talking about small businesses and local. It's hard enough to run a restaurant that if you're in fucking St. Louis or something, getting a little bit of promotion, like that's good, Beyond that, like, I don't know, these cooking competition shows are, I have a pretty low, I guess, low tolerance for it. They're not my thing, I would say. Yeah.
Well, so, all right. There's the evolution of the Food Network. And I think Guy Fieri is a big crux of this, where, excuse me, when the Food Network came back, when the Food Network started, I should say, it was cooking shows. Like, and again, I haven't done any research on this. This is just like my personal perception of the network, but it was like Julia Child kind of pioneered the format as best I can tell. And maybe somebody did it before her, but she popularized it where it's like, you're in somebody's kitchen cooking along with them. They narrate the thing. It's kind of shot in one take. It's not super produced. And it's fun. And you learn to cook. And Emerald Lagasse did his show on Food Network. He was like the first Food Network star where he was like doing a showy version. What was it? Bam?
Bam.
Let's kick it up a notch.
Yeah.
And that became super popular. And then Food Network went from like so many of our cable channels did. It went from being like about a very specific, low budget kind of thing, a very specific type of thing, to like, let's go big, let's go broad, let's get as big of an audience as we can. Like,
right. It's about the personalities.
Yeah, but it's not so much about cooking. Like in the same way that AMC used to be a movie channel, and then they do Mad Men, and now like it's just kind of whatever.
Right.
They're just like they're diluting the thing that they started out with. so much that it is just kind of like flavorless now. Like MTV doesn't play music videos.
Right.
Food Channel doesn't show cooking stuff anymore. So when they started getting in away from the cooking stuff, they started doing the game shows. I think they were showing old Iron Chefs at the time, which I think very much popularized like food cooking competitions. Did you ever watch Iron Chef?
Yeah. That at least felt like it had some stakes. It felt like if you were to win, people would pay attention.
It will only have stakes if steak was the mystery ingredient given by the chairman, Adam. I know what you mean, though, by the way.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it had carrots.
Yeah. But, like, I maybe that existed, but I don't remember, like, that type of, like, cooking competition show before I saw Iron Chef. And we should say Iron Chef was, like, invented in Japan, and the Food Network was, like, airing, like, dubbed episodes. Like it was kind of like watching like old Godzilla movies a little bit. You've been watching a lot of Godzilla movies, right?
I have. I've been Godzilla pilled recently.
How's dubbed or undubbed?
Undubbed, subtitled. Yeah.
So you're not getting like kind of the Americanized like silliness.
No. Although they're pretty. They're still pretty silly, but no. I do want to say that I think Japanese competition shows are on another level. And former guest recently, Julian Shine, I know is very inspired by the absurdity and like cartoonishness quality of a lot of Japanese game shows. So I don't know. I mean, I guess they've pioneered a lot of stuff, including like Ultimate or whatever, Impossible Warrior or whatever it's called.
Oh, Ultimate Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, that's it.
I've never seen one of those.
I like those. So
they
those
cook
are
on it.
No, they run around, but it's like pushing people to their limits. I think is Japanese stuff is pretty good at. Yeah.
And Iron Chef is. All right, there's a big thing, like even when I totally understand the rules of a game show, like Iron Chef is two chefs, one chef versus another chef. One is from the stable of expert chefs, the Iron Chefs, and the other one's like a challenger. And they have their team, and they have like the chairman shows up and dramatically reveals the mystery ingredient, and sometimes it's steaks or sometimes it's carrots. But there's like a lot of obfuscation over the actual rules of like how much lead time somebody has, like, you're directing this team, but like who's being brought on the team, like Iron Chef in particular, and even when they imported it for America, it was like it just didn't quite connect. It doesn't feel like a fair game when you watch it on TV, if that makes sense.
The Rando versus the Iron Chef.
I mean, there's elements of the show where it's like, oh, they're pulling out, they've got their, the special ingredient is carrots, and they're pulling out, we've got our uni here. And it's like, well, did they just have all of this uni ahead of time? Right. So before Food Network did their own Iron Chef, they did Chopped, which was kind of their twist on it. They're like, file the serial numbers off of Iron Chef and like make it with American chefs. Sure. Big fan of Chopped. Yeah. I've seen most of the episodes of Chopped. Do you watch Chopped?
I've seen a fair bit.
Is that one that you can fuck with?
I like it more because, again, it feels like they have some amount of stakes and some amount of like pageantry in terms of like building, and anticipation for who's going to win, and people are crying and stuff like that. Like at least there's some drama. It's not just some silly goof stuff. Yeah,
I agree, and I think I've learned a lot of about cooking and cooking techniques from watching Chopped, and I really dig it, and I think it's a good show. There's another show around the same time, Master Chef, right? It's called, it's Top Chef. I don't know what Master Chef is. Never seen Master Chef.
Yeah.
Top Chef is the one I'm thinking of, where that is like we're going to get all these chefs and they all have to live together in a house, and we're going to get rid of one at the end of every episode. And
Real World.
It is. It's
in Road Rules or whatever.
Or like Project Runway.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Where it's as much about the interpersonal drama between the chefs, and like they have to do silly challenges that aren't really related to cooking. And I watched one season of that, and I was like, this is not for me. Yeah. Like I like Chopped. I like Iron Chef because it's like you watch it for 1 hour, you get the whole narrative and see some cooking, and that's it. And you don't have to like tune in next week to find out what happens to Richard Blaze.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like conceptually, like zooming out a little bit and thinking about our culture making essentially working class people into these like caricature entertainers, and like how now if you want to have a successful restaurant, you need to be some kind of a entertainer, or if you want to have a successful house fixing up business, you have to be an entertainer. You know what I mean? Like that's cool.
You know, there's some local chefs who are kind of going through or having this moment right now in Flamingo Heights, the restaurant La Copine, and they just put out a cookbook, which we got the cookbook. It's fabulous. Check out the La Copine cookbook. Eat at La Copine if you can. They're doing the press rounds. They were on the Drew Barrymore show. They came to the radio station where I work to do the hour-long Friday interview show, and they were actually talking about their experience on Chopped. I guess I really shouldn't share their insight into that.
Why not?
I don't want to get them in trouble. It's their story to tell.
Oh, they didn't talk about it on the radio.
No, they talked just behind the scenes about some being on an episode of Chopped.
Right.
So I guess that's where I'm at. That's where we're both at with competition games. Food cooking competition games. Where are you at with Guy Fieri?
Again, like on one level, I like I mean, there's a lot of discourse about Guy Fieri.
Too much, possibly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like people hate him because he's this sort of absurdist, late Gen X, kind of like, oh gosh, what are those loud Tommy Bahama shirts or whatever? But there's another, anyway, whatever. It's just sort of like the worst, like Harley Davidson, Las Vegas or Miami, kind of guy that we all grew up with.
Brash
American. But, and then so everyone just knee jerk is like, fuck that guy. And then like there's the other side, which is like, no, he donates a lot to houseless people and he cares a lot about food banks and he, cooks for free and all this kind of, and he actually like whatever. And basically like he has an altruistic sort of heart. And then so that was the backlash to the backlash. And then now there's the backlash to that, which is like, oh, well, he was seen shaking Donald Trump's hand and he was at UFC with Dana White and, what's his name? Tate, Andrew Tate shook his hand and he had to claim like, oh, I didn't know who that guy was. I was just at the UFC fight and then there he was. And yeah.
Not to be in the politics of it, but I think if you're a famous person, people always want to come up to you and shake your hand and get a photo. And if it turns out that they're a weird alleged psycho rapist, sex trafficker from Europe, maybe you're not up on whose hand you're shaking.
Right.
I think that's plausible deniability.
For sure. Yeah.
So I remember like Triple D, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives was like his big show for Food Network where he would go to, small restaurants that maybe wouldn't get so much play on Food Network or like prestigious dining shows. You'll talk about a cheesesteak or talk about, like a quesadilla, something with cheese and goo.
I mean, we've talked about how there was a period when regular restaurants, working class restaurants, were just treated like garbage. And we've talked about how Jonathan Golden possibly popularized the reckoning, and this is a continuation of that to some degree.
Is he the populist Jonathan Gold? I mean, Jonathan Gold was a populist, but
no, but I think he's the entertainer version of Jonathan Gold to some degree.
I remember
except not very discerning.
No, he's definitely like. I joke about this on my morning show that Guy Fieri will show up and say, "Oh, this is in the top 5 best nachos I've ever had." But it's always like the top 5, best poke bowl, Mexican infused poke bowl I've ever had. Like he won't even say this is the best Mexican poke bowl he's ever had. It's, top 5 Mexican poke bowls of all time.
So somebody, and who knows if this is true, somebody said that his tell is if he just repeats. Now that's a hamburger. If he says that, then that means he doesn't like it. But
okay. Very interesting. I have not been able to like perceive his tells when it comes to the food that he actually enjoys or dislikes. I remember when we were living in New York, there was a food critic that reviewed like Guy Fieri opened up a Johnny Garlic's or some kind of restaurant in Times Square.
Very famous article.
Yeah, and
it was in Times Square, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and just really trashed Guy Fieri, and that was like the peak of like, fuck this guy, let's trash this guy.
Right.
And I remember a comedian kind of led a bit of I forget the name of the comedian, but he did.
Yeah.
Why is everybody so mean to Guy Fieri?
Right. Yeah.
He led the response to the backlash. So just when it comes to Triple D, real quick, I've learned a lot of stuff from Triple D.
In terms of cooking or in terms
of cooking.
Okay.
Like I've learned a lot from Chopped. I've learned a lot from watching the Food Network, and I stole a lot of ideas from other chefs and other restaurants that Guy is watching. One of my favorite things that I make is a smoked vegan meatloaf. And I watch Guy go to a guy and he's I smoke my meatloaf. Here's how I do it. And then I started doing that. And like I've done pop-ups where I've just sold smoked meatloaf. And that is something I directly saw on an episode of Triple D.
All right.
So I like Guy Fieri, I think.
Yeah.
And I could never connect with the topic of today's show. Guy Fieri's grocery games. Guy's grocery games Triple G.
Triple G. Yeah.
Yeah, I told you I would watch it and I'm like, I do not understand what the fuck is going on at any point. Anytime I caught a little bit of an episode, I'm like, what is this? No sense. Like totally out of context. Sometimes people are running around, sometimes they're cooking. I was like, why are they cooking? I thought it was supposed to be like supermarket sweep more so.
Yeah.
Where we will do probably an episode about that down the line.
Sure. Well, so that was one of the things I was a little disappointed about is that to me, a lot of it was divorced from the regular supermarket experience, mostly because they never once talked about money or the cost of anything.
Really?
Yeah. Did they?
Okay. Well, let's define what this show is.
Sure.
Let's say what the show is.
Sure.
How would you describe like the premise of the show?
The premise is they get something like 4 or 5 chefs of varying talent.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they give them some competitions, usually involving specific ingredients, and then they get a certain amount of time. It seems like 30 minutes was common.
I think 30 minutes was at least the last 2 rounds.
Yeah. And then they have to, wow the chefs. And rather than, there is usually a winner of the competition, but there's definitely a loser, and then the loser has to leave.
They chop somebody at the end of the round, just like the show Chopped.
Yes.
But instead of having mystery ingredients, like they're in a grocery store, they have to run around with a shopping cart and get the ingredients that they're going to cook with. The more time you spend getting your ingredients, the less time you have to cook.
Right.
And Guy will usually put some parameters. It seems I've only seen one episode, and I think you have too. But it seems like there's always like a few different parameters of stuff that you've got to do. Like the first round we saw today was it all had to be frozen food.
Yes.
And then like the Willy Wonka of the grocery store that he is, Guy Fieri will sometimes even throw an extra bonus twist about halfway through the. So that's the show. And it starts with 4 and they do 3 rounds. So the final round is just 2 chefs head to head. It didn't seem like it was like Chopped is, appetizer, entree, dessert, which I think is a big failing of the show.
Yeah.
As I don't give a shit about dessert.
Okay.
And I usually tune out for the dessert.
Okay.
And it should be the most exciting part of it, but I'm just like, I don't care who gets to the ice cream machine first. So comparing it directly to Chopped, I really like that it wasn't like, now everybody has to make a dessert. It didn't feel like the 3 rounds were timed with like a 3-course meal in any sense. And I thought that was great.
I should mention, if anybody wants to watch along with us, we were watching season 1, episode 5, titled Fiesta.
Was it Fiesty Fiesta?
Oh yeah, Fiesty Fiesta. Yes. That's right.
And not a very well named episode.
And only connected to one of the challenges.
Yes.
It was not a theme of the whole day.
That is how they name Chopped episodes also.
Okay.
They'll say like if there's a very standout ingredient for one round, it's tuna belly takedown.
But I would think if I was a writer or whatever the equivalent of writer is for one of these shows, I would want to get the whole episode themed at the whatever the thing is.
So we watched season 1, episode 5 from 2013, and they probably are so new of a game they don't even feel like it's novel enough as it is. They don't have to do like full themed episodes.
Sure.
Chopped has been on since like 2006 maybe. Like they've been doing it for 20 years, and they are like every episode is like has like a weird theme or twist these days because like we don't want people getting bored watching just another good Chopped episode.
Right.
So it's got to be like, okay, it's all, Thai themed, and we've got special Thai judges, or it's tournaments and things like that. and I do want to get into the money thing first, but just talking about the prize money real quick. They have the exact same prize money that Chopped always has. It's $10,000. Well, no, it's I guess it's a little fluctuating with Guy Fieri. Chopped is always $10K. You win $10K. Guy Fieri was giving away $20K.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a guaranteed $20K. It was a chance at $20K. Mm-hmm. So depending on how well you shop, you could get more money or less money. And we'll get into that a little later on. Mm-hmm. So the 2-part challenge is to go shop with a basket, and they have constructed an elaborate grocery store. What did you think of the grocery store?
I mean, it seemed like it was in a real grocery store that they took over, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
It is absolutely not.
Okay.
The only thing I've ever read about the show ahead of time, and this was years and years ago.
Yeah.
Guy did an interview where he talked about the Flavortown Market. Uh-huh. So this entire show is set in the confines of ostensibly a grocery store. Uh-huh. There's camera crews and there's like a cooking station. If you are walking into the grocery store, it seems like the cooking station is kind of on the left-hand, like the front left-hand side, with, some coolers, like with cheese and eggs behind them, and then aisles going the other way down to the produce on the far right. So if you're running from the start, you're going the furthest to get to the produce side. And he has said that it is a complete set. It is like an absolutely fake place built in the Food Network studios. And they do bring in fresh food. They try and stock it as close as they can to a real grocery store, and everything that isn't used and can't be saved for the next shoot is donated to food banks.
Okay.
So when you hear about Guy Fieri's like donating a lot of stuff to food banks, he does do work, and he does like cook for at fires and in Northern California and stuff like that. But that is also a big part of that donation vibe.
Sure. Which, if other hosts, especially 10 or 20 years before, would not have mentioned anything about food waste.
Absolutely. So that's certainly something. It ain't nothing.
Yeah.
But it seemed convincing to you. I mean, you thought maybe it was shot at a Lucky or something.
Yeah, I just thought they chose some cheap supermarket and just took out the whatever, remade it. But yeah, okay.
I would be very curious about the economics of like building and stocking. I mean, a grocery store versus going and setting up a little cooking studio outside of a grocery store or whatever.
Right. I mean, as you're talking about it, that does make more sense than ripping out, temporarily taking out the registers to put cooking stations. Like, yeah, of course.
I don't know. That's Hollywood magic, isn't it? Where we build our little grocery store.
I mean, they definitely captured the dreariness of supermarket lighting and everything like that. I think they did do that because Chopped, whenever they're in like a produce section, like it's lit like a TV studio. So I guess that's something.
I wasn't paying that close attention to the lighting, but I think you're spot on. It does feel like you are at it has the bad lighting of a grocery store. And most of the challenges involve people like running around with carts, going and getting their ingredients. You mentioned that you were a bit taken aback by that there was no like pricing situation.
Yeah.
Did you see any prices on the walls or on the shelves?
No, did you?
I wasn't looking.
I was, and I didn't see anything. I think that was intentional. I think they made the decision that for whatever reason, that was not their game. Like Supermarket Sweep is all about pricing.
I know nothing about Supermarket Sweep.
I'm pretty sure it's like they give you $20 and then you need a whatever. But this is like the opposite of that. And to me, I'm just thinking like, if you're connecting to my experience or really anybody's experience at the grocery store, to jump over the issue of pricing just seems it seems at minimum like you're missing out on some tension that you could be adding, some realistic tension that people would relate to.
I wouldn't be surprised if because we were talking about how they put constraints on each round, and it seems like it varies, and they have a lot of different challenges that they can throw out and reuse again. Yeah. Maybe price would be one of them, but it wasn't in the episode that we saw.
Yeah.
And if you didn't see any price labels on it, then I guess they're focusing on grocery shopping as more of a physical act.
Yeah.
That's the challenge of it, is like running through the space, knowing where the things are, gathering the things and like putting the meal together in your head and leaving out that the price component.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have added something to it?
So I was. It's hard to relate, at least for me, the cooking contest. I've never been in a cooking contest. It's hard for me to know how it feels and whether you have enough time to make your crepe batter or not. But I do relate to running around in a supermarket vaguely frantically. So when they were doing that, that was an experience that I have had many times. And had they added a price, had they been like, and you need to not go over $40 or something, then it would have really felt like a real person is shopping in the supermarket.
Okay. That's like, we have done that. We did the Aldi challenge on this show where you kind of gave me a number and said, you can't go over this number. I wasn't, and I was frantic at the Aldi because I had to get to a therapy appointment. So I definitely had a time constraint, and that was more challenging. Like, I do take my time in a grocery store, and I do get a little stressed watching people like run through the aisles. Like in this, maybe that's another part of the reason why I've never clicked in with Triple G.
See, you say that, and I'm sorry to push back a little bit.
No,
but,
I would love to be pushed back.
Maybe the only times I've ever been to the grocery store with you are times when we have to we're going back. We're cooking a thing and we don't have onions, so or hard kombucha. So then, and I've been in the grocery outlet with you where you are almost running.
Okay.
You run to the onions, you grab the onions, you run to where the hard kombucha is, and then we're in line. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Really?
Yeah.
I will take that note. It's very interesting to me. I feel like I'm a pretty chill customer in the grocery store, but I guess not. I guess I'm a huge psycho.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not normal behavior, but it's been more than once.
No, I always think I'm pretty consistent in the grocery store. So I guess I'm a big psycho at the store. Okay. Wow. Mind blown a little bit here. So you do the shopping part, and then you do the cooking competition part. And whatever time you don't, so the physical challenge is like, I must shop as fast as possible. Like you're doing the cook stuff, but there's the added physical component of physically getting the ingredients and also doing everything within the time constraint. You've never done a cooking competition?
No.
Okay.
Have you?
I don't think so. But I have worked as I've never worked in a kitchen, like a restaurant kitchen, but when I first moved to LA, I was doing catering. Like I was a sole caterer for breakfast and lunch for like photo shoots in the middle of the desert and like junkyards for this one like production company. And they say, you got to have this shit done by such and such time. And when you do the pop-up, which we used to do the barbecue pop-up at my house, you have put on you said you're opening at 11. The food better be ready at 11. Like if somebody shows up at 11:01, you can't say, oh, hold on, I'm not quite ready yet. No, you're ready by 11. That's how it should work.
Right. I mean, you called it hot dog panic for a reason.
Yeah, because I was very panicked about doing the stuff, and I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, getting everything ready to go. I think, again, I've never worked in a restaurant. I've worked at a Starbucks. But if you work in a restaurant, I think there's a lot more time constraints. And it's more of like a machine, and you develop your skills faster and in a way that makes you able to thrive in a cooking competition.
Right.
And we will get to this a little bit. I called the winner in the first
you did
5 minutes of the show.
I didn't say like him, but I was thinking like, wait, him? So I did. Yeah, it did surprise me that you were calling him right away.
I've watched enough of these cooking competition shows. If you're trying to predict who's going to win, the first giveaway, a private chef, always on their way out.
Yeah.
Private chefs don't. I'm sure they can cook good, but when you hire a private chef, a lot of the job is like being charming and chatting in the kitchen and like, oh, things are taking an extra 5 minutes or whatever. It's not as high of a pressure job. And chefs from restaurants or cooks from restaurants always thrive in cooking competitions because they can take the heat in a way that a private chef simply can't. So one of the guys that was on today's show that we watched was a private chef.
Yep.
The guy from New York.
Yep.
And I'm like, probably not. And then the other lady, my favorite lady of all.
The lady who got kicked off first?
Philippa.
She
was she owned a baked good company in Brentwood, which is an extremely nice neighborhood in Los Angeles. And I was like, she is not going to thrive in this cooking competition. She will eat shit. Yeah. She did.
Yeah.
No, she flamed out so spectacularly.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Everyone was making comments about her hair falling in the food.
She had outrageous long hair that was like past her shoulders, and like it was getting into other people's food. And our guy that won, I believe his name was Sammy. He had long, gorgeous hair, but he kept it tied up because he's a chef and he knows what the fuck he's doing.
Right.
So no, I've never really done a cooking competition kind of thing before. I would be interested in it, but again, I would get creamed by like a line cook because they actually know how to do stuff.
Let's put on a cooking competition.
That's something that like I don't know if I need to be in like on the cooking end of the cooking competition.
You want to be a judge?
I would like to host it.
Should we contact local businesses for a cooking competition? Would they enjoy that?
That's something that our friend who is one of the owners of Tiny Pony and I have discussed in the past.
Oh, okay.
And again, I think it comes down to everybody having a lot to do. And,
Sure.
I went to a burger throwdown in the Santa Monica airport. Our friend who works in the restaurant industry, Kara, took me there. It was like a very high-end competition where everybody who made a hamburger in Los Angeles got together and like made hamburgers. He just walked around and like tried like half of everybody's hamburger and voted on who the best one was. And like I think Seth Rogen was the host.
Okay.
But that was like a really wonderful cook. It wasn't so timed. Like it wasn't like you got to cook this thing and these are the parameters. But it was like the only actual cooking competition I've been to.
And Tiny Pony did a cocktail version of that.
They did, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I did get to announce a winner at that also.
Yeah.
That was very fun. But I don't think I know that people are doing this Chopped thing or like this Guy Fieri's Grocery Games thing. Like there's a high school version that it's a competition amongst our San Bernardino County's high schools, like cooking, culinary students.
Okay.
Go and compete. And I've gotten some press releases from some of when our local high schools have won as part of my job in the news here.
Okay.
And Joshua Tree. So it is done. But, you could do Chopped anywhere. Like you could do Chopped at a house. You could do a Hot Ones at a house. That's an eating competition. Get 10 hot sauces and 10 chicken wings or whatever. Recreating a Guy's Grocery Games would be impossible.
Yeah.
It is a what's the word I'm looking at? It's not decadent, but it's extravagant.
Right.
It's definitely Hollywood magic.
Yeah.
How would you do?
See, my cooking is so specific, vegan shit. And not only is it specific, I think I'm a good cook for the stuff that I know how to make, which is some kind of tofu-based type stuff. So if I could use that, I think I would do okay. And the running around wouldn't bother me. And even the cooking at a deadline, I'm good in that kind of stuff. So I think I do okay, but I don't know if I would win against professionals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You see my huge bandage here, right? Your dog ate my old bandage right off my finger. I have a paper towel duct taped to my thumb. I was delivering some bad news and cooking up a fabulous, elaborate dinner for my partner over the week, and I absolutely sliced into my thumb. My worst cut yet as an adult from cooking.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
How long ago?
It's Thursday, I think.
Okay.
And I am a famous choker. I always choke. If I'm doing anything live or, I have a stressful job. I do live radio, put together newscasts. I can hit deadlines. But when it comes to performing live and succeeding in a live, environment, I always choke.
Okay.
So I don't think I would do very well on Chopped. If they had, Chopped for, podcasters, and I was going up against other podcasters, I might do well.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could beat a chef Chopped at all.
Let's do that competition.
Chopped for podcasts?
Yeah, I don't know how it would work, but we could figure it out.
I'll get Ted Allen on the line. I've communicated with Ted Allen a little. I drew a comic about Chopped, and Ted Allen loved it. It's Ted Allen Chopped Cannibal Edition, and it's Ted Allen chasing the loser down with an axe and hacking them up, and then the next round the chefs have to cook with the body of the guy that was chopped. And Ted Allen has it printed and posted on his dressing room wall at the Chopped office.
I love that. I didn't know that. I knew he liked it, but
He did,
yeah.
and he sent me photos of it printed out up on the wall.
That's great. And this is before the menu came out, which I
Yes.
think is about that.
God, that's a good movie.
Yeah,
The
I haven't
movie's
seen it.
Not quite about that.
Oh, okay.
But that's a good ass movie.
Yeah.
So I did want to talk. Hold on, how are we doing on time?
We are 41 minutes into the podcast.
Anything before we get to the specific episode that you want to hit?
Nope.
Okay. Let's talk about this very specific episode.
Okay.
So I was really excited about it. I didn't think that I was going to dig this program. And I think the one we watched, we picked pretty randomly.
Very random.
Like we were going to watch a different one and it wasn't working. And so I'm just like, just do one from season 1. It's not the first episode.
Yep.
But it's early. I hate to watch the first episode of stuff.
Why?
Like game show stuff. Because it's always
Because they're
clunky.
still figuring that out.
Yeah, they have to figure out what Chunky does. So this felt to me like an exemplary episode.
Okay.
I was so jazzed and fired up about this episode. I thought, having only seen one episode of the show, this was an episode that was firing on all cylinders.
I'm amazed that you had this experience because it is very different from my experience watching this.
Okay, what was your take?
Just it was kind of like whatever random bullshit that it would be on the background of a cable TV show when you're at a hotel. Okay. Like I was not jazzed or connected in really any way.
All right.
But I mean, I'm happy to hear that you were, and clearly I'm missing some drama. So
Well, I will. Let's dig into it. The first game, like they introduced all the chefs. I love this. So it's set in a grocery store, and I don't know if they filmed it there, but like you introduce your chef with like a little bit of a talking head thing, like it's kind of a confessional if you're familiar with the real world. But you put the person on a set, and you have them talk about their history. You show B-roll of them cooking at their restaurant. That's how you introduce a cooking competition person. And they chose the background for these talking heads scenes to be the citrus department of the grocery store. Did you notice that?
no, I did not notice.
I love that.
Okay.
It's just like a guy talking about I'm Casey. I cook this kind of food in Vermont, and this is what kind of cooking that I like to do. And they're saying all this stuff in front of a bunch of limes and lemons, and it's just like the whole back of the screen is just limes and lemons. I love that.
Because you love grocery stores?
I love grocery stores, but I just love that it wasn't like some random like talking heads. Like they picked a section.
Sure.
Maybe that is where they do their confessions, because just thinking about the layout.
Pretty view or what? Oh yeah.
Well, we were talking about the layout of the show, where that's the if you're walking into the grocery store, the cooking section, the main set of the production where they're spending most of the time is on the left-hand side, and the produce usually on the right of the grocery store, all the way on the other side. So maybe production-wise, they can be setting up over there and do some talking heads on the other side of this great big grocery set.
Sure.
So that might be why it is in the produce section. But I loved it, and I have to ask, if they were going to do a talking head interview with you in a grocery store, which section would you select for your talking head interview?
I mean, I feel like it's very similar, but I feel like the lettuce wall with the sprays. I feel like that's pretty picturesque. And
Okay.
I think it'd be like that Obama portrait
What's the
where he's like in the leaves,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The talking heads by the heads of lettuce, the sitting heads and the talking heads.
What about you?
I love the idea that you're about to like say something like really sad, like tell the tragedy in your backstory, and then the sprinklers go on and go, and you like get distracted from your tearful moment, your story. I don't know. I like maybe the freezer section, but that probably would fuck up the lighting. Like,
But then you'd have to. What would you be in front of? Ice cream.
I guess ice cream.
Potatoes.
They did. There was a focus on the freezer section this episode, and when they were in the freezer section, the lights were the most visible. Like you could see the crew carrying the microphones, the cameras, the lighting in the reflection of the frozen section. So like, I guess that would actually not be the best place. Like, I mean, maybe cereal, but cereal is so graphic designy. It would be like you would get lost in the fade. I don't know. The produce might be the right place for that.
Yeah, I
sort of
think
thing.
produce is probably the right place.
Very interesting. I never thought about like using the grocery store as a backdrop until this episode of Guys Grocery Games. Fantastic. Loved it.
I really am enjoying how much you like that episode. That's really charming.
So, all right. They introduced the chefs. I didn't get everybody's name, unfortunately, but they introduced the guy that won, the guy that I called as the winner during the first round, Sammy, who he has kind of, how would you describe his vibe?
I would say he's got some stoner-ish vibes, and maybe hipster, but not really. He's just got like coworker vibes. Like I feel like I've worked at a warehouse with him before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he had man bun vibes to me.
Sure.
He was from Boston.
Yeah.
He was like, had his long hair pulled up, a little bit surfer, and he was constantly talking himself up a bit. He said this one thing when you're introducing yourself and you wanted to say your accolades and stuff. He said he had received several Lifestyle Visionary Awards. They did write down. And maybe that's a very prestigious thing in Boston. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it sounds extremely stupid to me. And I'm very sorry to Sammy. And I'm saying that. I'm very sorry to all of the Lifestyle Visionary Award winners out there.
You didn't know, but you were up for the award until just now.
I've put myself out of the running for Lifestyle Visionary Awards. I don't know what that means. It's not one I've heard of. It doesn't sound like it's related to cooking. It sounds like it's related to like the local magazine gives it to, well, these are our Lifestyle Visionary Award winners this year. And it's got a, cool photo of him chopping or, doing sauteing something in a frying pan. One guy was from New York.
That was the private chef.
He's the private chef.
From Long Island.
And that will come into play a little bit later for the second challenge. There was Casey, who I didn't catch any of her background at all.
I don't.
She was a chef in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And then there was the great, my favorite, Philippa, the baked goods store owner from Brentwood, California. Is that the most annoying neighborhood that exists in California?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
It's more annoying than Beverly Hills.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Calabasas.
It is.
That's where OJ's from.
Brentwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is a older white South African lady with outrageous hair who owns a baked good company.
I didn't clock that she was South African.
How could you not?
I don't know. I didn't recognize the accent. But it makes sense now that you mentioned.
She was extremely silly. And just didn't seem like she really had it together at any point. Her long swoopy hair everywhere. Guy Fieri was like commenting on her looks and how she like vibed in the kitchen, and he's like, "I've never seen anything like you in the kitchen before." So probably doesn't cook that much.
Right.
What was your take on her?
She just seemed kind of annoying. I guess that's all I could, like, pretentious in the worst kind of way, and just the, kind of rich LA kind of
very rich LA person.
Yeah.
I have a baked goods company, and like. We know people who were approached, and there's a lot of Chopped talk on this show because I'm more into Chopped, and they're similar shows. They're made probably by the same production companies. But we know somebody who was approached to be on Chopped in LA, and they were a private chef, and I don't know so much. They've cooked for me once or twice, and I would say, oh, very good cook, but I don't know if they're Chopped material. I assume if you're a private chef, probably not going to go too far on Chopped. They approached this person to be on an episode of Chopped, and this person declined, saying, I don't think I would do so well. But they approached this person because they're very photogenic, big energy, like big character energy, like big maniac energy, like somebody that you want to see on TV. And when they're doing these cooking competitions, they are casting people as well as looking for people who can cook. But this lady, if you meet this lady, you're like, I got to throw this lady into a cooking competition. She seems absolutely silly, like completely silly fucking lady.
Right.
And she was great. So the first round was frozen. Everything had to come from the freezer section, which I thought was a great challenge, a great choice of things to do, like a very like sending people to a specific section of the grocery store. It felt uniquely grocery store. Like, what a great grocery store challenge, only from the frozen section. I do remember Philippa saying just the silliest thing. She says, I kind of feel inspired by the freezer. Is that offensive if I do the accent?
No, not for South African Afrikaners. You can make fun of them all you want.
Okay. But she was talking about how she's always inspired by the produce section and she can't get any inspiration out of the freezer. And we've talked a lot about frozen food here.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much nuance. Obviously, it's 20th century commerce, the freezer section. Like, that's the foundation of the grocery store. So much history, and it's like, it's maybe the microcosm of grocery stores in the first place in some ways. But I think just to, like, out and out dismiss it like she did shows me that she is not going to win this competition. She didn't make it past this round. But I was just like, that felt like a really, like, limited worldview. That felt like a rich person thing to say.
Yeah. The other guy who said something sort of similar was the private chef from Long Island.
What did he say?
He was just like, I don't know how I can do this. They just don't have anything here. Something like that.
Yeah, which I found very limited worldview.
To me, it's like, that's easy. They have almost anything you could want. You won't have fresh lettuce, but like, there's plenty of options.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so the two actual chefs, the people who work in kitchens and restaurants and stuff, both did the same move, which was getting shrimp from the frozen section. And I think Casey, the guy that won, or Sammy, the guy that won, actually said it specifically was shrimp is the product that when you freeze it, it changes the least. Like, I think most of the shrimp that people are eating has been frozen at one time or another. They freeze it on the boat before they like bring it back to keep it fresh. So that is their smartest play. The two chefs.
I mean, most of the fish we eat has been frozen at some point.
I think you can get fresh fish at a grocery store for sure.
Okay, but even like sushi, all that fish has been frozen.
Okay, we haven't done our fish episodes.
Yeah,
might be wrong about that. But,
yeah.
But like, if you're going frozen, like, shrimp is a phenomenal choice. And I really respected when Sammy even said that. He went innovative. He said, how do you get fresh flavors on there? He grabbed mango sorbet, which I thought was just the smartest possible play.
Is that what tipped you over? Because you were big on this guy early, and I didn't understand what the big deal was. But I also didn't clock the mango sorbet.
Yeah, he got mango sorbet and shrimp, and I said those are two exemplary things to choose from a freezer section that shows that he's thinking outside of the box and that he knows how to cook. And Casey, the other chef, also got the shrimp and did well. I mean, she was the runner-up, but that's how I can clock that this guy's going to win. Even though I made fun of his Lifestyle Visionary Awards, and he had a silly kind of Breckenmeyer vibe, stoner vibe a little bit.
Yeah.
He was very hunky and very clever in the kitchen.
Sure.
So what was the thing that you were shocked about?
Did I say that?
During this first round, when Philippa was trying to make the thing that she could not, a gastrique.
Oh, gastrique. Right. I have never heard of that word, gastrique, before.
I think that is a fancy person thing that you do. Like,
what is it?
So I think we should look it up right now.
Okay.
I've seen people make gastriques on shows. If you put a gun to my head right now and said, what is a gastrique, I would not be able to tell you. I don't think I've ever intentionally made a gastrique, or if I have never said. And now for the gastrique.
It is a sweet and sour sauce made from caramelized sugar and vinegar. French. You caramelize sugar and then you deglaze with vinegar.
Okay.
And then you add it to, it looks like pork is mostly what they're adding it to.
Okay.
But yeah.
I've never done that. I don't add sugar to. I don't really cook with sugar that much.
Right.
I've made pan sauces and stuff like that, but I guess a gastrique is specific with sugar.
Yeah.
But she was just yelling in her South African accent. Her gastrique was burning, and then she did not get the gastrique on the plate at all. And that is when you were doing a cooking show, like Chopped or whatever. If they're looking for the easiest reasons to cut you.
Yeah.
So if you don't get an ingredient on the plate, they're going to cut you because they don't even have to think about anything else. They're like, oh, she fucked up. She didn't do it.
Yeah.
So.
And she was like, wait. Like they were going to stop the timer.
It was very like, she had a big entitled vibe to her where she was like, oh no, I can't do it. I got to get my gastrique on the plate. I have to give her, she tried to do a fried cod which I think was actually a pretty smart move. Like I've used frozen cod to do like fish and chips before. It's elaborate, and she didn't pull that part off either. Like I would say that's probably too elaborate to do in 20 minutes.
Okay.
But I liked where her head was at the very least.
Okay.
Any other notes or thoughts from this round?
Not really, no. Yeah. The private chef, he was the guy that I personally disliked the most.
Why is that?
He had entitled vibes too. He kept being dismissive over the comment. He was basically, I guess, finding a way for him to feel better about himself, like superior to the competition. Okay. And then when he was making fun of the frozen section, and then what he chose frozen tater tots, which I like, but are not a ingredient for a fancy competition.
I don't know if this competition specifically has to be fancy. Obviously, Guy Fieri.
Well, you're trying to impress some judges. Frozen tater tots have such a specific flavor that you cannot get that out. So I just don't think that that's an ingredient that anybody should ever use, unless the goal was to evoke a fast food restaurant or something.
I think that there's a way you can transform tater tots into something else. Like, I think I've seen it done, like even like blending them or like chopping them and like making them like a chunkier component.
Sure,
of the dish.
but he just cooked them and then just plated them.
That's a thing in a cooking competition you do not want to do, is not transform the ingredients.
Right.
So he did not do that. His salmon was overdone, and I've cooked with frozen salmon before. I try to get fresh, but at a pinch, frozen salmon is not the worst thing that you can cook with.
I have frozen vegan salmon that I need to.
Okay, what does that consist of?
I have no idea. I got it at a fancy Asian only and vegan only grocery store in Anaheim.
Okay, and you have not cooked with it yet.
No.
All right.
I need a thawed out.
Okay,
Yeah.
get some dill at the farmer's market and dill it up.
Dill sauce.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking more like a Asian-y thing, but I could try it.
Absolutely. Whenever I cook salmon or like a red trout, I always just like cook it in canola oil with dill and salt.
Okay, well, I've never tried that. But I mean, I think I have enough that I could do multiple recipes with it.
But yeah, another thing, we should mention the judges really quick before we move on to the next round. There's watching old Food Network. They cycle through, like they have their favorites at the time, and then they get put out to pasture. Maybe they cost too much money or whatever. Like when you watch old Food Network shows, you're like, oh, that person was ubiquitous on the Food Network for 4 years and then vanished. You never heard from them again. And I don't know if they like had a falling out or got too expensive or what, but like there's like eras of Food Network chefs. This was shot in 2013, and they had chef Jet Tila, who I felt was super ubiquitous for a very long time, and like have not seen him on the Food Network in a very, very long time.
Jet Tila. What's his deal?
I don't know. I just know him as a judge on Food Network stuff.
Okay.
He always seems charming and fun. And Troy Johnson was the other dude who I feel like I know from judging competitions, but he didn't seem super familiar to. He was like an editor of Food Magazine at the time, I think. And then Lucerna Garcia was the third judge, and I don't know her from anything.
Lorena
Garcia.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wrote it weird.
It's okay.
Your dog was probably jumping up on my notebook.
Yes, probably.
Round 2. Same kind of thing, but instead of having the freezer section, they played the little game.
What was the little game?
So the guy was going to give clues about a specific product.
Oh, right.
And whoever would run and get the product and be back in time would have an extra minute added to their 30 minutes for round 2.
And what was the clue again?
It was something about like dark versus light. Like you want to cook with light and do something else with dark. And I immediately thought it was beer. Or no, the first ingredient, that was the second clue. The first clue was it's derived from like an ancient term for honey, like an ancient Roman term for honey. Then it was you cook with the light and use the dark for something else. And then the third clue was something about blackstrap. I just kept shouting, beer is beer, right? Do you think that Guy's Flavortown Market, do you think they have like a liquor? They did go to the liquor section in the third round. But it was molasses. Do Did you guess that? Did you have any guesses?
No, I didn't. I was getting up to cook at that specific moment.
Yeah, you were kind of a little checked out on this episode. Like, I know you keep calling it background material.
Yeah, that's mentally. I think that's where my brain was. Is I was definitely. I didn't click in.
Okay.
At any moment. But I know that you were, and I was like, Jeff's really taking his job seriously for the podcast, and I took notes and stuff, but I didn't click in.
I was shocked by how clicky I got with Guy Fieri. I just thought, what did you think of that game as like a game to play in a grocery store? I mean, anyone can do that. Like, obviously, you don't want to knock over customers, but find the clues, who comes back, finds the ingredient on the shelf, figures out what the ingredient is, and comes back.
I like that. That's a specific thing that is unique to a grocery store. Also, like, whatever, tests a little bit of trivia knowledge about ingredients and stuff. And he knew.
The blackstrap was what set him off.
Yeah, he knew. Yeah.
Because that is a very chefy thing to know. Like, I don't know blackstrap molasses, but he's like, I've cooked with this product. I know this product. I know what it is. He struggled to find it a little bit.
Yeah.
And the other two chefs both got it into their head that it was agave.
Yeah.
Which is similar, but
it's not Egyptian, or would they say Rome? Greek?
I forget
but agave was a bad guess. So yeah.
But yeah, really interesting thing, and he got his extra minute. This was the Mexican themed round. They said we want to do a fiesta, and this is I mentioned that the personal chef was from New York. Because he's like, we don't have Mexican food in New York. I don't know Mexican food.
Yeah, that guy. That was, again, so dismissive, so classist. His name is Chef Marcel Cosit.
Okay.
And he's still a private chef.
But don't ask him to do Mexican food. I think this round, they gave him a few parameters for ingredients. I did get that.
Oh, they gave very specific ingredients.
Yes. It wasn't like you have to make it out of this, but they said, this is your grocery list. You need to get Kikkoman soy sauce.
Which was the only sponsored thing that I noticed. Yeah.
Something green, a jarred pickle vegetable, a protein, a corn product, something red, and a dairy product. Especially for Mexican food, I think that's like the easiest possible list that you could do.
Yeah, but they were acting like it was so hard.
Well, soy sauce in Mexican.
I know they were making such a big deal about it, and then like one of the judges was like, "Well, actually, Latin food and Asian food are actually quite similar, or something like that." It was a little painful.
It was rough, but everybody. I think even the guy from New York accosted himself pretty well in the round. There wasn't like I think everybody kind of did pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought nobody did bad.
Right.
And everybody was making fun of our winner, Sammy, for putting a tostada in a bowl.
Right.
Like everybody was dunking on him about that.
Yeah. He said, a tostada is very cumbersome to eat. In my experience, he's not completely wrong, is he?
I don't think I would serve it in a bowl.
Yeah.
And I do think, at least on Chopped, like plate or an Iron Chef specifically, I know that one of the categories they give points on is plating, and I assume that all Iron Chef derived cooking shows have a plating category. But it's boring to talk about plating, so I think anytime somebody fucks up plating or does something like really wild with the plating, they will remark on the plating and make a to-do about that.
I should mention that, the guy who won, Sammy, right?
Yeah.
The first competition, he took his green sauce and he flicked it on the plate like a Jackson Pollock painting. And that was right around the time that, Jeff, you were like, oh, he's going to win. And right on the time, I was thinking, like, that looks like shit. But I should have trusted the process because it did look pretty good once it was all done. But it looked messy as fuck when he was doing it.
Yeah, a few judges did call it messy, but a few judges did remark on it looking avant-garde.
Yeah, right.
The New York guy did a Mexican quesadilla with brie on it.
Right. That bugged me the fuck out of me.
Okay.
Because again, he's this fucking elitist motherfucker. He looks down on frozen food. He looks down clearly on the entire nation and cuisine of Mexico. And then he needs to bring a fucking French cheese into it. And he said, what? I'm not going to use cheddar. So I've decided to elevate it or something like that. Which is just the most like, that riled me up. I forgot about that.
It didn't look good. He lost a lot of points for putting brie and making like a French herbed quesadilla.
Yeah.
It looked bad.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention this New York component because like when we lived in New York, like we both left New York in 2010, and they were just starting to get Mexican food, I guess. Like there are Mexican immigrants in New York, but it's
not as many. It's more El Salvadoran. But and
the immigrants that did come from Mexico are not coming from the parts of Mexico that we think of when we think of Mexican cuisine. Like the immigration from into California, into Texas, the Southwest. That's what we think of when we think of Mexican food.
Yeah.
And Mexican immigration to New York brought like a little bit of a different cuisine.
For sure.
Mexican food, to that guy's credit, really not super common in New York at that time that they shot this, especially if you're in Long Island.
But there's a way of saying that in a respectful way,
Yes.
and then there's a way of saying that in a dismissive.
He was very dismissive.
Yeah.
And he was dismissed.
Right. Yeah.
And then the and you know what I wanted to point out that on the tostada that's Sammy made, they gave him the note that there's too much radish on it, on his tostada, and he took it to heart. He said, "Hey, I'm from the Pacific, or I'm from the Northeast, I'm in Vermont. Like nobody ever said there's too much radish on anything. We're crazy about our radishes, but I will take that note." And I'm like, that's people who can take a note that it indicates that you're going to shift your strategy for the third round.
Sure.
As well.
For sure.
So what was the third round? I've got it.
What do you have? Yeah.
Guy said it's the Breakfast Club.
That's right.
And they wanted everybody to do their best breakfast, but the twist on the round was no shopping carts were allowed. So you had to carry everything with your hands. If you dropped an item, you had to go back for it, and you could only make one trip. What would you have done for your breakfast club?
I mean, I'm pretty good at like tofu scrambled and like home style potatoes and stuff like that. So, and that is a simple meal, but you can make it satisfying with the right accoutrements. So I feel like I would probably do something like that. And yeah.
Would you be able to carry everything, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's just potatoes and tofu and like some spices and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what I would make. Like, I made it very quickly today. I think I make a pretty good New York style bacon, egg, and cheese these days. And I maybe would have done that. I think that's all carryable stuff. I think I'd do a breakfast burrito pretty good as well. And again, it's breakfast stuff, so you're, if you're not doing vegan cooking, you definitely want to start with those eggs. That's like the thing that you got to carry the most gently and like at the bottom.
Right.
I think that this is an appropriate challenge for breakfast because you're not going to be getting like any like heavy. You're not getting cabbage or anything like too heavy. I think you talking about getting potatoes.
Yeah.
Might be the heaviest thing that one could grab.
Yeah, but you could get a sack of potatoes and carry other stuff with it, hanging out of your hand. I wouldn't worry too much about that.
They both went French.
Yeah.
They both Casey made crepes and Sammy made a French omelet.
So let me ask you about this.
Yes.
Because this is something that. So I saw, oh gosh, why am I fucking blanking on his name? British chef who yells at people.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay talk about the perfect omelet, and his recipe, he like whipped milk in there, and he had this sort of real fancy sort of method of doing it. And then when it came out, it was the most like soft, like it just looked like dough pretty much, and I have never had an omelet that looks like that. So to me, that looks disgusting. And then when the guy cooked his omelet, they said, it's too brown. There's Maillard stuff or something like that. And like to me, that's what an omelet has.
That's because you're a U.S. American.
Yeah.
So the French omelet, I don't know if they invented the omelet, but it's like a really...
Well, it sounds French, the name.
Yeah. I would imagine that the original omelet or the French omelet, like a French omelet is very thin, light, soft. There's not... Maybe there's a little cheese in it. But otherwise, it's just like kind of like a softly cooked rolled egg, and then you do like a little chive on top.
And it's supposed to be sort of fluffy.
Very fluffy. And as they were saying, it's not supposed to have any browning on it at all. And I guess when it came to America, as we like to do here in America, they added a bunch of like meat and cheese to the thing.
Yeah.
And, you think of the 3-egg omelet here in U.S. Americas, and you go to the omelet bar and you say, I want ham and jack cheese.
I want, scallions. I want all that shit. Mushrooms. I want loaded up with fucking stuff. I don't want just eggs.
I mean, I really think that like a French omelet is very comparable to a crepe in the way that it's like supposed to be light and maybe like one filling, if that, like maybe some goat's cheese on the inside or whatever. Or I think I've seen them with mushrooms, but it's rolled, it's not folded. And I've never made one. I could barely make a U.S. American omelet, which is heavy duty, 3 eggs, full of junk in it. I loved the American omelet, but
Yeah.
I think by calling it a French omelet, and again with these cooking shows, your intention does matter. Like if you serve it to the chef and say this is a French omelet, then they're going to say, well, this is not French because it has the Maillard reaction as browning. If you just say this is an omelet, then you're not going to lose points for that.
Right.
So I think you do need to be intentional when cooking on a competition show and say what the thing is that you're doing. Both of them were making very challenging French dishes on what looks to me like not the right equipment for either of these things. Like the pan situation, and again, that's another thing where the rules aren't super clear. Like, did they bring their own pans? Like on Chopped, they always have a pot of water boiling at all times. On every the round starts and people have boiling water ready to roll. And they never address it really. And that's like one of those unspoken rules that I'm always trying to like figure out. Like, are people bringing their own knives? Are people getting their own pans? Like, how does this all shake out?
Yeah.
So I'm talking about unspoken rules. That's one of those things I'm talking about. They both did good in the final round.
Yeah.
But it was very clear from the way you can only edit around a clear winner so much. Like, we know a lot of editor friends.
Yes.
You edit this podcast, you do a lot of music editing. I do a little audio editing for the radio station. But we know people who like edit TV shows, edit movies, edit game shows. And you can, at least I've seen enough of these cooking competitions where I can like see through the editing, like why are they showing me this? When they're making fun of this guy having a bad bowl for his tostada, that's because it was otherwise a pretty flawless dish, and they want to show somebody
They need to have a reason.
They need to have some good stuff to say, some bad stuff to say, and they're going to use the editing to try and make it appear as even as possible until the last minute, even though this guy is very, very clearly the winner of the round. Or of the show. He's just like excelling in every sense.
Even to the point of they clearly went to the other, contestant, and they were like, make a comment about him putting a tostada in the bowl. And then she was like, ugh, a tostada in a bowl? Who does that? I've never heard of it. But it's clearly they served that up for her because they knew that they needed that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, he won. I mean, he didn't really win that round, but he won the competition. And I thought they were pretty close. Their crepes and the omelets both looked of like similar caliber and quality.
Yeah. Correct. Sorry, I'm doing research.
Okay, what are we finding?
There's something sort of complex for me to try to untangle, but it's necessary for me to for the episode.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's untangle.
Coconut Creek election, so this is in Florida, marked by feud and defamation lawsuits. Vice Mayor Jacqueline Rayleigh faces off against opponent Philippa Sklar in the March 11th city election. So Philippa Sklar ran for election in Coconut Creek, and it sounds like after a year of online vitriol, Rayleigh sued Sklar last June. Her lawsuit alleges that Sklar has waged a campaign of attacks against the vice mayor, accusing her of harming the elderly residents of Winmore. Facebook's from Sklar calling Rayleigh a, quote, crazy harpy, accusing Rayleigh of stealing from Winmore's residents and part of a criminal enterprise. So she's suing Philippa
from this show.
For defamation. Okay.
Wow.
This is recent news.
Okay, so Philippa's still in, even though she didn't go so far on Guy's Grocery Games, she's still making news.
Yeah. So, and when you look at her Instagram, she says, state of mind, it's public figure. She has nothing about cooking. She says, fighting for justice in Florida. So I guess she believes that she is. And then this is what I saw when I got real quiet because I was very confusing.
Yes, Coconut Creek.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess Philip is still wrecking house over there, finding no inspiration in the frozen food section, but finding inspiration in suing people for defamation.
She was getting sued.
She's finding inspiration in defaming people, allegedly.
Correct.
Yes. Congrats to her.
Good for her.
Very annoying stuff from an annoying lady. So we've not been secret about it, but Sammy won the episode.
Correct.
He then gets to do the final challenge and gets to win the chance. Every time they said a chance for $20,000,
yeah,
I was like, that is so cringe. Just give them the money.
Right.
That's going to be brutal to like see somebody lose some money. How do you win the $20,000?
Yeah.
They give you a grocery list of 20 things.
Yeah.
You have 2 minutes to get everything on the list.
So again, this is the most relatable that I felt watching the show. Because again, this is something I have to run around. I have to try to find the cereal really fast. Yeah, I've been there.
Do you think, so I'll read the list of things that this guy had to find in 2 minutes. Gallon of milk, bag of pretzels, jar of pickles, brown eggs, breakfast cereal, green herbs, juice concentrate, something red, chocolate candy, diet soda. Do you think you could do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I could.
2 minutes?
2 minutes is not that much time.
Yeah, I think I could do it.
All right.
I mean, maybe we should do our own. We could do that competition.
Not well, like I don't want to piss off anybody in a group. Like if we could get in after hours, maybe I would do that.
If we did it at like 8:30 p.m., there wouldn't be anybody there.
I mean, is that the new type of like crazy prank YouTube video doing guys grocery games in an actual supermarket, taking it on the road?
I think we could do it in a way that they don't realize what we're doing. Like.
Okay. We'd have to go out of town to do this. I wouldn't do this
All
locally.
right. That's the problem is the grocery store that I wanted to do, you were literally sponsored by.
Yeah.
So
a grocery outlet?
Yeah.
Well, they move stuff around a lot too.
I know. That's why it's really fun.
I guess that's a pretty small store, our local grocery outlet. I guess maybe we could do it. But thrillingly, Sammy got all of them.
Yep.
He had time to spare.
Yep.
I was so impressed that he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that he was going to put a down payment on a condo with a sweetie, and then when Guy Fieri told him he won and that he got $20,000, he like let his hair down, and it was like long, flowing, gorgeous. Like he was a total hunk.
Yep.
And he killed it. He's Triple G.
Still is a hunk.
Absolutely.
He's got a little bit of a salt and pepper beard. He's still looking pretty good. His work outside of the kitchen focuses primarily on ocean conservation and sustainable food systems.
Yo, king. We stand a king, Adam.
Yep, we love it. We love it.
He dominated Triple G, cozied up to the mayor of Flavortown himself, Guy Fieri, and did it all while being just hunky as hell. Maybe he is very deserving of the Lifestyle Visionary Award that he has won.
Yeah, he's at a number of restaurants. He seems great. I like this guy. I ride for this guy.
Yeah. Really, really interesting, good episode. So, you ever going to watch another one of these?
Only if we were going to do another episode. Or another, not out of fun.
Okay.
Would you?
Look, I'm tempted to, pitch this to my partner. Like, I love Chopped. Would watch every episode of Chopped. In the old days when we were living together, I would illegally download episodes of Chopped as they aired. And my partner thought she made fun of me so much. She's like, I cannot believe you're doing that for Chopped. That is outrageous. That is absurd. And then I showed her an episode of Chopped. She's like, okay, I get it. I would love to watch Chopped. I don't know how we were getting them for a while, but since there was a network merger, and so they went on to HBO or Hulu or stuff. And now they just put up collections of Chopped, and they do it infrequently. And all of the episodes of Chopped that are available to us at this moment are ones that we've already seen. So we've kind of burned through our cache of Chopped episodes. And I would consider pitching my partner on Guys Grocery Games, but I don't want to have it become the thing that our house is for the next few years, if that makes sense.
I want to hear you pitch your partner on this. I would love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation. And also, I don't imagine that it would consume your house, but at the same time, if for some reason you did start regularly watching, then yeah, maybe it would consume. Maybe that would be all you would be talking about for the rest. Yeah.
Well, so I maybe can I don't want to pitch it, but I could do my hypothetical pitch live on the air.
Okay.
But before we even get to that, I pitched her on a program that has become all consuming in our household. A show with Supernatural. A show with possibly more episodes than Guy's Grocery Games, if that's even fucking feasible.
I started watching that while I was working out, and I think I might change to a different show.
Okay.
I think I'm going to start watching Invincible now.
All right, that's a cartoon. You did not enjoy Supernatural?
It's cheesy in a way that's like hard for me to vibe with.
Okay.
But I hear it gets good and weird, and I should keep going.
I think it starts out pretty strong too. It only gets better.
Okay.
But my pitch to my darling girlfriend who listens to every episode of the show, so she's probably listening right now. My darling, it's like Chopped but with grocery store, and there's a lot of episodes of it. What else do you have to say about it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I might watch more episodes if it's like easy to watch. I'm not gonna go through any back channels to find episodes. If there's like a collection of Triple G where we have been watching Chopped recently, maybe I'll put it on in the future. It seems like you want to do some of these Guys Grocery Games personally.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
So
But sitting and watching people do them.
yeah, maybe we will revisit that in a future episode.
I would love to play a grocery game. Clean Up on Aisle podcast grocery games.
We can maybe put some work into that. Any final thoughts on the program?
It was, I guess it was more or less what I expected. I didn't know it was a cooking competition. I thought there were going to be more running around and there was going to be a little more finances involved, which to me is an important part of the grocery store. But at the same time, I guess it was as good as you could expect out of that type of thing.
Yeah, it feels like Chunky never figured out what the deal was. They had all summer to figure out what Chunky's deal was.
Oh, right.
Tyson Robinson thing.
Yes. Yeah.
But they never really figured out. It's a little confused. There's like a lot going. That's why I could never click into it. There's like too much going on, and every round is a little different. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? But having watched it all, I got it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
You're in. You're guy pilled now.
Well, I think that's gonna do it for us. This has been another episode of Clean Up on Aisle podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Check out Guy Fieri's Grocery Games. And for Adam Fligsten and myself, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.